You found out recently that one of your employees committed a HIPAA violation. Although all of their background knowledge from the training you gave them on the law tells them what is and isn't allowed, they made a mistake. Their error could end up costing your organization thousands of dollars in fine and a loss in your reputation as a healthcare provider. You're facing a dilemma in this situation though, because you put in a lot of time and resources into your employees and they're one of your most valuable members of your team. As a manager or administrator of a healthcare organization, you have a lot of responsibility placed on you to ensure that your team is proactive and productive. However, every once in a while, certain circumstances will present themselves to you and put you in a hard place. Among those is when a HIPAA violation occurs. Depending on the infraction, your organization might face a penalty so big that it could force you to close your doors forever. Worse yet, jail time isn't off of the table either. But there's a sociology aspect to it as well. You don't want your employees to clean out their desks and leave on the spot because you chewed them out about their violation and mistake. That won't help your organization grow. So what should you do when you face this dilemma? Hi everyone, I'm Matt for Tactics, and today I'm going to tell you how to discipline your employees for a HIPAA violation. Before we get started though, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking the button below. While you're down there, hit that alert bell icon next to it so that when we post new helpful content, you get notified. Believe it or not, employee discipline for a HIPAA violation depends on the type of breach that occurred. Breach definitions and their recommended disciplinary actions should exist within your policy manuals. There are 3 levels of a breach that we're going to define in this video, each of which has its own employee penalty associated with it. Level 1, unintentional. Level 2, curiosity or concern with no personal gain. Level 3, personal gain or malicious intent. First, let's go over the proper discipline for a level 1 or unintentional breach. A level 1 breach occurs when one of your employees accidentally or carelessly accesses, uses, discloses, or otherwise misuses protected health information, which is also known as PHI. These are the minor breaches such as talking about PHI in public spaces of your organization like elevators, lobbies, cafeterias, and printer rooms, leaving PHI open or available for others to access like at an unlocked computer or left on an unattended desk, mailing patient bills and statements to the wrong address, and attaching PHI to emails without encryption services. Of course, I want to emphasize that no HIPAA breach is minor by nature. However, what's important to understand here is that level 1 breaches aren't in any way malicious or done by a repeat offender in most cases. So what do you do for a level 1 breach in terms of discipline? For this level, you most likely won't have to report the breach to the Department of Health and Human Services, but they do still require some form of notification and corrective actions. At any rate, disciplinary action for a level 1 breach isn't as severe in nature. You shouldn't terminate or suspend an employee over a level 1 breach unless they're a frequent repeat offender. Instead, employee discipline for a level 1 breach should include an oral or written warning, coaching, and retraining. Believe it or not, these simple punishments will go a long way since it's not an overly complicated HIPAA violation. When we get into a level 2 breach, discipline starts to get a little bit more severe. You might be wondering, why would someone want to snoop into the PHI of people at your organization out of mere curiosity? Actually, this type of violation happens more often than you might think. Level 2 violations happen when a team member accesses a family member's PHI, accesses the PHI of a high-profile patient, gossips about PHI outside of the organization. Now to define them, these types of breaches don't seem that unrealistic, do they? If the employee accesses their family member's information, a written warning would suffice if this is the first ever violation from them. That way, it's recorded in the event that something like this happens again. Sometimes, level 2 violations happen because an employee decided to snoop into the files of a recently admitted celebrity or high-profile patient. Something like this would naturally grab national headlines considering the popularity of the individual. If this were to occur, then termination is most likely the only option in order to save your brand image as an organization. Finally, we have the most severe form of a HIPAA breach, level 3, personal gain or malicious intent. Unfortunately, employees may sometimes go out of their way to harm individuals coming to your organization by accessing their PHI for ulterior reasons. Level 3 breaches happen when an employee knowingly accesses PHI in violation of organizational policies, shares PHI outside of the organization to unauthorized members, uses PHI to harass or harm patients, accesses PHI with the intent to sell for profit or gain, or uses PHI for identity theft or another form of criminal activity. This is by far the worst violation that could occur due to an employee. It also has the harshest penalties that lead to immediate termination and, in some cases, jail time. Usually, reporting a level 3 HIPAA violation also requires the involvement of legal counsel in order to protect your organization. Although a rare type of breach, these happen. They're unforeseeable for the most part, but it comes down to who you hire. By having a comprehensive hiring process in place, the chances of this kind of breach happening is very low. Even to the most skilled compliance or human resource manager, coming up with the appropriate disciplinary action on the spot for a HIPAA violation isn't realistic. There are just too many factors involved. But by classifying different levels of severity and defining their penalties through a policy, you're making the process easier and more efficient overall. Compliance can't happen without policies. HIPAA breaches happen at a rate of 1.4 times per day. So even if you haven't experienced a violation yet, it's important that you know how to handle them properly, including how to discipline your employees because it might happen in the future. It's not easy to discipline your employees for something that they did on accident, but you simply can't let HIPAA violations slide. If you'd like to learn more about employee discipline for HIPAA violations, reach out to eTactics. And you already made it this far into the video, so you might as well like it, share it, and comment below. What are you waiting for? Subscribe to our YouTube channel.